We must engage in that battle. And the fifth one is the ANC as an agent of change. When you read through the document that is in front of you, these are the 5 pillars that you'll discover there. And it's elaborated. Why do we say the state is a pillar of the struggle? It's explained there. But then fast forward to 2007 in Polokwane. When we met there, we adopted strategy and tactics for 10 years. That's now from 2007 to basically 2017. Because you can't plan in a very small way. You need to be forward-looking and you need to have foresight about the future. So that was agreed on. We adopted strategy and tactics for 10 years. But then in 2017 in Mangaung, we paused again and we added a preamble to the strategy and tactics. That's the only thing that was added to strategy and tactics in 2012 in Mangaung. And in that preamble, we reflected back and we said that in 1994, what we achieved was political freedom, the democratic breakthrough of 1994. But we know that political freedom without economic freedom, you can't sustain the first one. You can't sustain political freedom. We paused and we noted that there are 3 fault lines that starkly faces us in the eyes. And those fault lines, we said, it's unemployment, it's poverty, and it's inequality. That creates serious challenges for us in exercising our political freedom. We then termed the period ahead as the second phase of transition. And that second phase of transition, we said that it must focus on a radical socio-economic transformation. That's what we said in 2012 in Mangaung. Leave alone those who speak about RET as a factional group. Here it's a program. He said, radical socio-economic transformation is a program. And that radical socio-economic transformation must focus in eradicating the 3 fault lines that we've identified: unemployment, poverty, and inequality. That's what we said. So any transformation that does not focus on these 3 fault lines is not radical at all. We said that we must focus on these 3, and we term that radical socio-economic transformation. But then in 2017, when we went to Nazareth, our strategy and tactics was focusing on, and the title was written, Enhancing Organizational Integrity and Intensify Action Towards a National Democratic Revolution. That's what strategy and tactics of 2017 actually indicated. And 2 concepts are posited here. It's organizational integrity and a national democratic society. Those 2 things came out of strategy and tactics in 2017. Why organizational integrity? Because we said that our organization experienced so many challenges. Internally, subjective weaknesses. Comrade Mbak spoke a lot about subjective weaknesses. So that document basically referred to the subjective weaknesses that we experience. And it says that if these subjective weaknesses are not addressed, we won't be able to achieve this national democratic society that we aspire to achieve. But comrades, the issue of organizational integrity is raised in strategy and tactics for the first time in 2017. You can go to previous strategy and tactics documents. You'll never see our strategy and tactics raising in a very candid way, very candidly, the issue of organizational integrity. In 2017 was for the first time, because we said these subjective weaknesses are a stumbling block for us to achieve a national democratic society. And we'll actually recall that it's not the first time that subjective weaknesses are raised in the ANC. In fact, 3 years after we captured the beachhead, in 1997, when Mandela addressed the 50th Congress of the ANC, he spoke about new tendencies that are emerging in the organization. And then he singled out the issue of careerism. He says that if we don't address careerism, it will be a problem in the organization. And careerism refers to the fact that instead of being an agent of change for our people and serving our people, comrades are inward looking, and they use their membership as a method for self-gratification. So Mandela actually refers to the danger of careerism. But then in 2017, comrades, we also raised other subjective weaknesses which have a deleterious impact on our organization achieving this national democratic society. And one of the issues, or some of the issues that 2017 document raised, both strategy and tactics, but also our organizational renewal, it speaks about us, the ANC, losing the trust of our people as a result of several weaknesses. And one of the weaknesses that is highlighted in strategy and tactics is the social distance that exists between us and our people. It's even saying that some of us are becoming lethargic to the problems of our people. But then it also speaks about corruption. It speaks about nepotism. It speaks about manipulation of organizational processes. And manipulation of organizational processes refers to matters of gatekeeping, where we sit and own and also disown some of our own comrades. This one can be a member of the ANC, that one can't be a member of the ANC. It refers to those subjective weaknesses. Buying of membership, internal political fights in the organization, where even ordinary meetings of the ANC end up in fatalities, people shooting each other. But also it speaks about arrogance, how we carry ourselves as leaders of the ANC. And elitism. You know, elitism is when leaders carry themselves in a way where they think that they are better than the rank and file of the ANC. Basic things, for instance, even eating arrangement. Eating arrangements where we eat there on our own and rank and file eat there. It's said that when people explain that in the camps, Tambo used to make his own tea and used to associate, in fact, with soldiers sitting there, and we are told that he had, you know, an ear to listen to problems of the people. And also, it speaks about the integrity of our organizational processes. For instance, membership system. Nobody, it's, you know, don't check comrades before they join the ANC. And we know in the past, we used to have that after the 1976 outbreak. We had an influx of people into the camps. And it led to problems because nobody was now screened. I'm sure we've heard about the Black September of 1979. 78, 79, Black September, where enemy agents actually infiltrated at the camps and poisoned food and water of our combatants to a point where more than 500 people were hospitalized because of that. Some of you might even know that Nova Katenge was a camp of the ANC in Angola. It was bombed and destroyed because of enemy agents that infiltrated and shared information with the apartheid regime to a point where even the base of the ANC was now bombed. Subjective weaknesses in the ANC, we say that without addressing the subjective weaknesses that are there, we won't be able to achieve this ideal future for national democratic society. And then the question arises, and it's raised in the document. What is a national democratic society? Because all of us, we speak about this national democratic society that all of us aspire to achieve. What is a national democratic society? And in terms of the definition, it actually equates a national democratic society to two concepts. First, it says it is a developmental state. And a developmental state in the main is a state that is able to intervene in the economy to support higher rates of growth. Where do you find such developmental states? You can look to Southeast Asia, for instance, Singapore, South Korea, Malaysia. It's where you'll get developmental states. But now it's a developmental state coupled with social democracy. Where do you get social democracy? Mostly in your Nordic countries, Malaysia and Sweden. So this developmental state that we speak about basically refers to developmental, or this national democratic society that we speak about refers to a developmental state coupled with social democracy. The reason why I had the projector there, what I wanted to present was a political spectrum and to show where do we locate the ANC in that political spectrum and our country. And in terms of the political spectrum, we are located center-left of the political spectrum. Should I write? I can hear voices that says that I should write and draw that diagram so that all of us should have an insight to that. I'm very far from the projector. I hope Babalo will switch it on so that I can quickly draft the notes. The risk is that those who are at the back might not see the presenter now, but the voice will be quite audible. Somebody is offering to take it from here, Comrade, the chairperson of JTG. Huh? It's not necessary. It's not. Can you see from the back? I don't think you'll be able to see. I might as well speak then. Okay. Okay. I bonagar. Okay. 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 But it will then be difficult for you, but let me just explain. Political spectrum is having three legs. The one is the left, then you have the center, and then you have the right angle of the political leg. Where the ANC belongs is center-left. That's how you should explain, not left-center. Center-left, because you explain it in relation to the center. We are center-left. The Democratic Alliance is center-right. That's where the Democratic Alliance is. But we have other left organizations also. After the ANC, we have what is called socialism, a bit far left, not ultra, but they are far left, further than the ANC. But then, further than socialism, you get communism. It's becoming ultra now. And after communism, you get what is called the anarchists now. Anarchists believe in no government at all. They don't believe in a government. They don't want to be run by any government. And then you have communism, where the means of production belongs to the people and it's administered by the government. Socialism, we speak about the dictatorship of the proletariat. Because from center-right, you need a revolution. You need a revolution to take over the means of production and try and transfer the means of production to the dictatorship of the proletariat. But then on your right, you have what we called, I've already indicated, conservative liberalism. Remember, the ANC is social liberalism. On your right, you have conservative liberalism, where they basically believed, comrades, in the free market, the invisible hand of the market. They want minimal government intervention in the economy. And left, they are agitating for government involvement in regulation of the economy. And also we believe also in taxation, a bit of a higher taxation, especially on the super rich, and to use the proceeds of that tax on social programs. For instance, old age pension, kindertula, and social program, building of bridges and stuff like that. That's what we believed in. And conservative liberalism, they believe no intervention of government in the economy, because they say that the intervention of government will stifle growth. It stifles growth and also innovation. That's the reason why they want minimal government intervention. But then further to your right, you get nationalism. Nationalism or narrow nationalism. Remember 1948, when the apartheid government won, they introduced what was called narrow nationalism, where they believe that they are the Heeren volk. They are selected by God to rule. And they said it in their policy when they lobbied. They said, "Die kaffer op sy plek en die koelie uit die land." They believe that blacks are threatening their prosperity and purity. They therefore need to be put in their place. When D.F. Malan won in 1948, he even proclaimed eie land, eie taal, eie volk, because they believe only in their own race. In Germany, Hitler believed that they are the Heeren volk. When you see 1488, you just see that number, you must run for your life. 1488 basically refers to these narrow national tendencies where people can even kill to preserve their own race. That's the reason why so many Jews were killed in Germany. And then extreme right, you get the Nazis. I'm sure you see what is happening in Ukraine now. You get the Nazis. So that is the political spectrum. Always when you argue, never say that we are a working class organization. We are not a working class, we are a multi-class organization. Other people call ourselves an omnibus or a broad church. You know, working class organization, it's where you'll find them in socialist countries, but we are biased towards the black working class. You should never actually forget our class relationship, or the relationship that we have with class, especially the black working class. We have a bias towards the black working class. But we are a multi-class organization. So when you speak, don't forget that. It's also contained in the, very boldly, it's being put in our documents, so that one can understand and not misrepresent the organization. So it's where we belong on the political spectrum. Thought that it's important to explain the political spectrum so that you can understand the ideology of the ANC in everything that we do. But then, remember, we said that the end objective is to achieve a national democratic society. And we even made example about the developmental state that is in Southeast Asia, and also what is in the Nordic countries. But what we've experienced in Southeast Asia, in particular in South Korea, was that this developmental state is not democratic. So what we want to achieve is a developmental state that is democratic. But also the problem that we experience is how they relate to monopoly capital and capital in general. We say that our relationship with monopoly capital, it's one of unity and struggle. Or alternatively put, or to juxtapose, it's one of cooperation and contestation. That's how we relate to monopoly capital. Then the question is, how do we cooperate with monopoly capital? When monopoly capital invests in our economy, for instance, if they build bridges and roads and stuff like that, we cooperate with them. Or even if they create jobs for us, we cooperate with them. But if they are naughty, or even skills for that matter, or if they push matters of broad-based black economic empowerment, we cooperate with them. But we also noted that sometimes monopoly capital, they are naughty. Where they are naughty, we contest them. For instance, sometimes you get collusion. These big companies will sit and fix prices of bread. You know, the price of bread or other prices. When they do that, we contest them, and we contest them heavily. Or even sometimes, you know, the distribution of income in these factories is skewed in favor of the managers at the expense of the motive forces, the workers. We then rope in COSATU to contest them heavily there. So our relationship is one of cooperation and contestation. But the question is, do we have monopoly capital? Yeah, I mean white monopoly capital. The question is yes. But we must remember, when we speak about white monopoly capital, we speak about a form and not content. The content is monopoly capital, and the form is white monopoly capital. And when we speak about white monopoly capital, we refer to white dominance in the economy. In as far as assets are concerned, remember, they own the assets. Whites own the assets. You need to understand, you know, what we term colonialism of a special type in order for you to understand why are whites dominant in relation to the assets, in relation to the income. When you go to private companies, you'll see whites still enjoy huge, income at the expense of blacks. So we basically refer to that. But also we refer to other privileges that whites enjoy. But in relation to what I've spoken about the political spectrum, how do we then analyze the balance of forces globally? When we look into the balance of forces, we check who are our friends, because that's what balance of forces actually refer to. Who are our friends and who are our enemies? We said globally, there are positive developments, but there are also negative developments. One of the positive